Hello guys, Prairie here. Today we're focusing on Python. We're going to look at modules, packages, and libraries. And these are terms that people use interchangeably, or they might be confused on what is what. You might hear people say import the package, and some might say download the library, and it's just all used interchangeably. But there are specifics to all of these terms, and we're going to unpack a lot of that today. Now, these terms really comes from the whole context of programming, especially when you're talking about object-oriented programming and the modularity that comes with that, being able to take set of specific functionalities you're doing, encapsulate that into a particular unit, and people can reuse that unit over and over and over again. And so this is where we really see modules and packages and libraries coming into play. For a vast majority of work that most people do in programming, you're going to be using somebody else's library and then building on that to do your own work. So let's dive right in. A simple diagram that I've always seen or I've always used to illustrate this is really thinking about it as a big box. Now within this box we have our package. So this box is a collection of package. Within the package you can have modules. So right off the bat, we can see that a module is a subset of a package. So a package is a collection of modules in other terms. Now, for the Python folks, if you're writing Python and you go into your IDE and you're doing import, what are you importing? Are you importing a package or a module, or what exactly is going on? So let's unpack this a little bit more, and I'm going to switch here to use a smaller pen, and we're gonna go into white. So let's say you go into Python, and a lot of us would do this, is you do something like import numpy, and this is your syntax in Python. You say something like import numpy. Now what is this? Is this a module or is this a package? Okay, and then let's say you do import numpy, and then you go to do something more like numpy dot xyz, right? Numpy dot do something, numpy does some certain function. All right, so what is that in general? So let's go back here to highlight what we've seen. This import here, this is our package that you're importing. You're importing the numpy package. Now inside of that you have modules. So now once you have this package, you can call specific modules within that package to use. So now this numpy dot, you might say this is a function, but it's not always a function. All right, but this will be your modules that you're then using from that package. Now in many cases, if you really don't want to do your entire import, if you don't want to bring every single module that comes with numpy and you want a specific module that numpy provides, you can always do it. Let's say you want just the XYZ module within numpy. You can go, instead of doing the import that, let's go back to white, you can do something like from numpy import XYZ, right? And so if numpy had 1,000 modules, just the XYZ module will be available within your environment for you to use. And the reason why you might want to do this is because maybe you don't have space on your machine to be importing everything available within numpy. You want just this specific one. So you say from numpy import that. So that's really where the difference comes from. Now let's take a look at this in terms of if you are working within your Python IDE, what this looks like. So for the most part, the way you would create packages or modules or what it looks like within your IDE is very straightforward. So let's just go back here and say, let's just take a look at this and say, hey, this is the IDE we're going to be working with. So this is your IDE. So this is PyCharm. And then let's look to the left side of your file browser. So let's say we're working on a project for education. And I'm just going to use this as an example. Within education, we have a couple of files. Let's say we have a Python file called school.py. We have a file here called student.py. We have another file called class .py, and then we have a file here called teacher or instructor.py. So this is how we modularize, education program or education application. Now, within school.py, you can break this even further. All right, because school.py is a Python file, and we know a Python file can contain a lot of things. It can have classes, it can have functions, and it can have variables. So if you open up the Python, the school.py file, you can see classes, you can create a couple of functions to add school, delete school, transform school, and then you can also have variables. Same thing with student, same thing with class, same thing with teacher. All right, now where does the concept of package comes into play? Now, and then also let's actually just add one more here. Within this, you can also have sub packages. So we're trying to create a package here called education. Education package has a bunch of Python files. Those Python files can be classes, methods, functions, and all of that, or it could also import sub packages. To make this a package, it needs to have one file that makes it a package, and that file is going to be an init.py file. As long as you have an init.py file, all of this in this folder gets wrapped up into a package, which will be your education package. Now you can ship this and send it to PyPy or to Anaconda, and other people can use it. Now, the second piece to be aware of is a library. What is a library? A library is just a catch-all term. So now we know what a package is. A package is just a collection of modules. So this will be your different modules, right? So a package is a collection of modules. A library is just a catch-all term that can describe a package or plus or minus specific modules. So a library is just a catch-all term. So let's somebody says, hey, I'm importing a library into my project. Well, that library could be a package, it could be a package and a module, or it could just be a module from a package. And that is just used interchangeably as a library. In the context of Python, there's no such thing as this is a library. There is a package or a module. Now you can call the package a package, or you can refer to it as a library. So you might say, hey, I'm doing data science and I want a NumPy library, or I want TensorFlow library. Well, what you really mean is you want the package from TensorFlow, and then within that there are specific modules that you can use and invoke. So hopefully this helped clear for us in a very basic way modules, packages, and libraries within Python. Essentially, modules make up packages, and libraries just describes a collection of packages or functionality you might be using within your code to perform certain functions in Python. As always, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching. If you like this, share it with somebody that might get value out of it. This has been Fru. I'll see you in the next lecture.